we have the author of Escaping the Flames, Chronicles of a Jet Crash Survivor. We are here with Todd Overgard.
Thank you. So I was raised in the Midwest, born in Iowa, but didn't stay there very long, and moved around to a number of different states, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and South Dakota, before moving out to California when I was 11. Ended up playing a lot of tennis. I got pretty good and ended up getting full scholarships to college, about 6 offers, and went to a small private college called Oklahoma City University in Oklahoma City. Senior year, I was looking to head home. My folks had moved back to Wisconsin, which is where they're from. They were living in Madison, Wisconsin. And I had decided it would be good to catch a ride with one of my dormitory mates who lived in Chicago. And that was fairly close to Madison. So we figured, okay, you drop me at Chicago O'Hare Airport, and I could catch a quick flight to Madison. December 19th, turning to the 20th at about midnight, we took off and headed north. My estimate is it was about a 12-hour drive in very foggy conditions, and I mean extremely foggy. One of us would be sitting in the passenger seat. That person was completely freaking out because you couldn't see but like 10 feet in front of the car. Now, when you're driving, you thought, oh, 70 miles an hour, that's not bad. I can see far enough down the road. It's a really strange phenomenon. But we were in fog for, I would guess, at least 3/4 of the drive. And so it made it pretty hairy driving at night in really heavy fog. And of course, daybreak broke, and it didn't help too much. We did get to O'Hare around noon on December 20th, 1972. And when I got to the airport was shut down. Heavy fog. It was must have been blanketing the central part of the United States. It turns out later, and I spoke actually with the controller who released my plane for flight, and he said that although the National Weather Service had it marked at 1/4 mile visibility, he had markers on the field, and so did the guy on the other side of the tower. It was less than 1/8 of a mile. Couldn't see more than that. So that's pretty thick fog. They weren't supposed to let planes take off unless it was at least a 1/4 mile. But the supervisors who wanted to get things rolling decided to use the Weather Service 1/4 mile estimate as grounds to move forward with. Of course, that wasn't what caused the problem. And to skip ahead just a little bit, it turns out that we had hit a plane that was crossing our runway as we were taking off. So inside the plane, and I try to describe it in the book, we didn't know what was happening. You're rolling down the runway and reaching takeoff speed, which is 160 miles per hour. And suddenly there's a jolt. I couldn't tell what it was. It sounded and felt like maybe the pilot had really slammed the wheels up on the undercarriage of the plane. But of course, that didn't happen because you're just taking off. And of course, that was the impact we had with the other plane. Inside the plane, we continued up, and for a few seconds there, I thought, okay, maybe we're going to keep flying. But the pilot leveled it off. Then the wings kind of went side to side a little bit. The lights went off, and he started descending, and I said, oh, crap, this is not good. I was looking at that same time at the terminal going, Jesus, I wish I was in that terminal right now.
Wow.
And he brought it down. It had turned out that what happened is when we hit the other plane, we took off part of their wing, took off their entire tail. We also put 3 huge dents in the top of their fuselage. And these were from our wheels. the nose and then the right and left main landing gear. The right landing gear went flying down the runway 1,500 feet. Our plane was brought back down, and I was expecting something at that point. I was expecting something extremely violent. You know, if you catch a wing or something, it could start tumbling, and that was going to be really bad. The pilot brought it down fairly smoothly, considering the circumstances, and it started skidding. As soon as it stopped, I'm saying to myself, crap, we may get out of this unscathed.
Mm-hmm.
But almost immediately, flames engulfed the entire section of the plane. And I kind of sat back for just a second or two and said, that's it, it's over. Because you didn't think you could get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Every window was yellow and pretty frightening. But at that moment, that may be the calmest feeling I've ever had. I don't know if it was resigned to the fact that I was going to die or exactly what, but I was extremely calm. And then within about 5 seconds, I would estimate, the flames began to recede away from the windows. And I figured out later they were probably going down to the fuel source. Now, what had happened to the plane was fuselage had broken in a couple of places. And of course, skidding on its belly didn't help that at all. So it's spilling fuel everywhere. And when it's on the runways, it's actually sparking. So you're going to see that it was dragging flames behind him.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And I do believe that it was also coming up through the luggage compartment during the entire time after we struck the plane. At that moment, when I realized I might be able to get off because the flames had receded, that's when I really felt extreme terror. Luckily, because we were on the fuselage, we were only 6 to 8 feet up. And being a college athlete with the potential of being burned to death was not a very high jump.
Yeah.
So I got to the open door. I jumped. I ran maybe 100 feet away. I turned around, and the flames were already 5 times as high as the fuselage.
Wow.
So it was really going up fast. And the cover of my book shows that plane. Let me see if it can be seen. It's pretty dark.
Is that the actual plane that was involved in the crash, or?
That's the plane I was on.
Wow. Wow, man. What's wild is, I've never been on a plane before, ever. And make sure you go and check out Escaping the Flames, Chronicles of a Jet Crash Survivor. You can find it on Amazon.
And thank you guys very much.
Not a problem.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm really enjoying my read so far, so thank you.
Thank you for your time, Todd.
Thank you.
Todd over, ladies and gentlemen.
Take care.
And we'll see you next time. Farewell. See description for full episode. Follow Bing Zang Zoom on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and all major podcast outlets.